Episode 5, Betrayal, when the people you love hurt you the most. Welcome back to Healing Out Loud. Whether you're joining us for the first time or you've been following along since the beginning, I'm so glad that you're here. If you're new to the podcast, I'm Donna Blanchard, the author of Heal the Pain and Breaking the Chains, that are both available on Amazon. Many of the topics we discuss here are explored more deeply in those books. But here on Healing Out Loud, we have the opportunity to have an honest conversation about healing, growth, self discovery, and what it means to rebuild our lives after difficult experiences. Today, we're talking about betrayal. It's one of the deepest emotional wounds a person can experience. Because betrayal rarely comes from strangers. It comes from the people we love and trust, the people we believed would be there for us. And when that trust is broken, it can leave scars that last far longer than the event itself. Betrayal can take many forms: a parent who leaves, a spouse who is unfaithful, a friend who breaks the confidence, a family member who lets us down, a promise that isn't kept, and a person who chooses themselves while ignoring the impact their choices have on others. The circumstances may be difficult, but the pain often feels the same. We trusted and we got hurt. One of the reasons betrayal has been such a significant part of my healing journey is because it started early in my life. My first experience with betrayal was when my mother left our family. As a teenager, I couldn't fully understand what was happening. I only knew that someone I loved and depended on was suddenly gone. But the betrayal didn't end there. Years later, my life was falling apart, and she offered what felt like hope. She told me she would help me. She offered me a home and support with my children. Believed that help was coming, I made major decisions. I put my house on the market, and I arranged for a 1 year leave of absence from work. Then she changed her mind. I remember feeling devastated and angry and hurt. Not only because the help disappeared, but because it reinforced a message that I had already learned as a child. The people I trusted most might not be there when I needed them. My father's betrayal looked different. When my first daughter was born, I needed my father. Instead, I felt abandoned and let down. Eventually, he disappeared from our lives for 8 years. 8 years filled with hurt, pain, and sadness. That's a long time to wonder why someone you love isn't there. As I moved into adulthood, betrayal continued to show up in different forms. I experienced adultery in my first marriage. I experienced betrayals from family members, betrayals from friends, and each one seemed to touch the same wound. That wound that asked, can I trust people to stay? Can I trust people to tell me the truth? Can I trust people to be who they are? What What I've come to understand is that the repeated betrayal doesn't hurt in the moment. It shapes the stories we tell ourselves. It can make us question our worth. It can make us expect disappointment. It can make us build walls around our hearts in an effort to protect ourselves from the future pain. For many years, I carried those wounds without realizing how much they were influencing my relationships, my choices, and the way I viewed myself. Healing didn't happen when the betrayal stopped. Healing began when I stopped defining myself by them. One of the things betrayal often steals from us is trust. Not just trust in others, but trust in ourselves. After being hurt enough times, we begin questioning our own judgment. We replay conversations. We look for signs that we've missed. We wonder why we didn't see it coming. We question whether we can trust ourselves to make good decisions. But healing isn't about becoming better at predicting betrayal. Healing is about rebuilding trust in ourselves, trusting that we can recognize unhealthy behavior, trusting that we can set boundaries, that we can survive disappointment, trusting that someone else's choices don't determine our value. One of the hardest lessons I've learned is not everyone will love us the way we deserve to be loved. Not everyone will keep their promises, and not everyone will show up when they say they will. And while that reality is painful, it doesn't mean we stop loving. It doesn't mean we stop trusting. It means we learn to trust wisely. It means we pay attention to actions instead of words. It means we stop ignoring red flags. And it means we stop abandoning ourselves in an effort to keep other people comfortable. Healing from betrayal isn't about pretending it never happened. It's not about minimizing the hurt. And it's not about forcing forgiveness before you're ready. When we stop carrying the responsibility for choices that were never ours, and when we stop asking what is wrong with us, and when we start recognizing that someone else's betrayal says far more about them than it does about us. If you've experienced betrayal, I want you to hear this. You are not harder to love because someone failed to love you well. You are not less valuable because someone broke your trust. And you're not broken because you've been hurt. And you don't have to spend the rest of your life carrying the weight of someone else's choices. Before we finish today, I'd like to leave you with a few reflection questions. Who in your life has betrayed your trust? How has the experience affected the way you trust others? How has it affected the way you trust yourself? Are these wounds from past betrayals that still need your attention and compassion? And what might change if you stopped measuring your worth through someone else's actions? Take some time to sit with those questions this week. You don't need to have all the answers. Awareness often happens where healing begins. If today's episode resonated with you, I'd love for you to follow the podcast, leave a review, or share it with someone who may need this message. And then if you're looking for additional support on your healing journey, I also offer one-on-one coaching. Coming up next episode, have you ever found yourself getting in your own way, repeating the same patterns, making the same choices, or sabotaging the very things you want most? In episode 6, we'll explore self-sabotage, where it comes from, why we do it, and how to begin breaking free from the cycles that keeps us stuck. Until next time, be gentle with yourself. Your story matters. Your healing matters. And remember, healing isn't about becoming someone new. It's about coming home to who you've always been. You don't need to figure it all out. You just have to take the right step for you. Take care of yourself and keep healing out loud.